You want to know what's worse than finding out your husband cheated on you? Finding out he's been cheating on you for 37 years with a different woman every single month, like he had some kind of subscription service to breaking my heart. But that's not even the worst part. The worst part, my son learned everything from him. I'm 65 years old. My name is Catherine Morrison, but everyone just calls me Kathy. I live in Denver, Colorado, and I'm about to tell you how I went from being the biggest fool in the city to the woman who finally got the last laugh. So grab your coffee, settle in, and buckle up because this story, it's a wild ride. Let me take you back to where it all started. It's 1985. I'm 23 years old, working as a secretary at this big law firm downtown. You know, the whole 80s look. Big hair, shoulder pads, thinking I'm something special because I can type 60 words a minute without looking at the keyboard. Then one Tuesday morning, in walks Richard Morrison, 6'2", dark hair, slicked back, wearing a suit that probably cost more than 3 months of my rent. He's a new associate at the firm, fresh out of law school from some fancy university. And Lord help me, when he smiled at me over that coffee machine in the break room, I swear I thought I just won the lottery. He walks right up to me and says, "You must be the new girl?" I look at him and say, "Been here 6 months actually, but sure." He laughs. "Well, you're new to me. I'm Richard Morrison. Catherine Walker, I tell him, but everyone calls me Kathy." Then he looks me right in the eyes and says, "Can I take you to dinner Friday night, Kathy Walker?" And just like that, I was hooked. I should have said no. I should have seen all the warning signs. The way his eyes followed every woman who walked past his desk. The way he leaned just a little too close when he talked to the receptionist. The way he had this smoothness about him that should have set off alarm bells. But I was 23. I thought I knew everything. I thought love could fix anything. I thought if I just loved him hard enough, he'd love me back the same way. We got married 8 months later at Our Lady of Lourdes Catholic Church. White dress, 3 bridesmaids, the whole 9 yards. My mama pulled me aside right before I walked down that aisle. She grabbed my arm hard and looked me dead in the eyes. "Baby girl," she says to me, "that man's got wandering eyes." "You absolutely sure about this, Mama?" I tell her, "He loves me. He really does." She just shook her head real slow and said, "Some men love you and still can't help themselves, Kathy. You remember I told you that." But I didn't listen. I thought she was being old-fashioned, overprotective. I thought I knew better. I was such a fool. We had 2 kids pretty quick. Danny came first in 1987. He looked just like Richard. Same dark hair, same eyes, same smile that could charm anyone into anything. Then Sarah came along in 1990. My sweet baby girl. She had my blonde hair and my mama's kind heart. Richard was climbing that corporate ladder fast. We bought this beautiful house out in Aurora. 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, big backyard with room for a swing set and a pool. On paper, we were living the whole American dream. But paper can hide a whole lot of ugly truth. The late nights at the office started around year 5. "Big case, Kath," he'd say. "Don't wait up for me." Then came the business trips to Chicago, New York, San Francisco. Then the phone calls he'd take in the garage or the basement where I couldn't hear. The cologne that didn't smell like the bottle I bought him for Christmas. I wasn't stupid, okay? I knew something was wrong, but I had 2 babies in diapers and a mortgage and this pride that just wouldn't let me admit I'd made a huge mistake marrying this man. Plus, Richard was really good at the game. I mean, really good. He'd come home after being gone for 3 days with a dozen roses. "Baby, I'm so sorry. I've been working so much. Let me make it up to you." Then he'd take me to some expensive restaurant in Cherry Creek, or book us a weekend in Aspen, or buy me jewelry for Valentine's Day, my birthday, our anniversary. Sometimes for no reason at all. And every single time he'd look me in the eyes and say, "You're the only woman I'll ever love, Kathy. You and those kids are my whole world." And I believed him every single time. Like an idiot. I believed him. My brother James saw through it, though. James is 3 years younger than me. He'd done 2 tours in Iraq with the Marines. Came back with this sixth sense for peoples he could spot a liar from a mile away. We're at this 4th of July barbecue at my house. Must have been around 2005. Richard's inside taking another one of his work calls. James hands me a Coors Light and says, "Kath, when are you going to stop lying to yourself?" "I don't know what you're talking about," I tell him. "Yeah, you do," he says. I see the way you look at him, like you're always waiting for the other shoe to drop. That's no way to live, sis. James, don't start with me today. He takes a long drink of his beer and says, "I'm your brother. It's literally my job to tell you the truth. That man doesn't respect you, never has. And the longer you stay, the more you're teaching those kids that this kind of marriage is normal." I wanted to argue with him. I wanted to tell him he was wrong. But right then, I look through the kitchen window and see 15-year-old Danny on his phone. And I'd already found condoms in his bedroom the week before. Not just one girl's phone number saved in his contacts, but 6 different girls. He's just a teenager, I tell James. Boys that age are like that. James looks at me and says real quiet, "He's just like his daddy, Kath, and you know it." I did know it. I just didn't want to say it out loud. Danny Morrison was what everyone called the golden boy, star quarterback at Aurora Central High School. Got a full-ride scholarship to University of Colorado Boulder, graduated with a business degree and landed some fancy job at a tech startup making 6 figures by the time he was 26. He was also a liar, a cheater, and a con artist, just like his father. It started small, real small. He'd borrow $20 and forget to pay me back. He'd promise to come help me fix my leaky roof and then never show up. He'd bring a different girl to every family dinner and introduce each one as his serious girlfriend. My daughter Sarah saw right through him from the start. We're having lunch one day at this cute little cafe near her apartment. Sarah had moved all the way to Portland after college. She's working as a social worker for foster kids, doing this beautiful hard work helping children nobody else wants. She only gets back to Denver maybe twice a year. And every time I see her, she looks more exhausted. So we're sitting there eating our sandwiches and she says, "Mama, when are you going to stop making excuses for him?" "For who, honey?" "For Danny. Mama, he's a criminal." "Sarah, he's your brother. Don't talk like that." She puts down her fork and looks at me. "Mama, he scammed Mrs. Henderson out of her entire retirement savings. That woman lost $40,000 because of him. That was just a misunderstanding," I start to say. He explained to me that it was a legitimate investment opportunity that just didn't work out the way he thought it would. Sarah actually laughs. Not a happy laugh, a bitter one. He didn't explain anything. He told that sweet old lady he could triple her money in 6 months. She wrote him a check. And you know what he did? He bought himself a BMW, a brand new BMW. Mama, lower your voice. Sarah, people are staring. No. You know what? I don't care if people stare. You've been protecting him his entire life, just like you protect Dad. When are you going to wake up and see what's right in front of you? I didn't have an answer for her. What could I say? Mrs. Henderson never pressed charges. Danny talked her into dropping it, paid her back $500 a month until she felt so guilty asking for more that she just stopped. But it wasn't the last scam, not even close. There was the DUI he got at 24 that magically disappeared because Richard knew the judge. There was a girl in Boulder who tried to file assault charges, but her parents suddenly got paid off and she moved to California. There were at least 5 jobs he lost for what he called creative differences with management, which really meant he got caught stealing from the company or sleeping with someone's wife. And Richard was so proud of him. "That's my boy," he'd say. Real go-getter, knows how to work the system. It made me sick to my stomach. But then there was Sarah, my beautiful, kind, perfect Sarah. She called me every single Sunday at 3 o'clock in the afternoon like clockwork. We'd talk for an hour, sometimes 2. She'd tell me about her work, about the foster kids she was helping place in good homes, about the little apartment she shared with her girlfriend Maya. Yeah, girlfriend. Sarah came out when she was 22, told us she was gay at Thanksgiving dinner. Richard did not take it well at all. "It's a phase," he says. "She'll grow out of it." Richard, I tell him later that night, She's been dating Maya for 3 years now. It's not a phase. It's still a phase. Trust me, she'll meet the right guy eventually and forget all this nonsense. But Sarah didn't grow out of anything. She grew into the most beautiful, compassionate, strongest woman I've ever known. She sent me cards on Mother's Day with these long handwritten notes that made me cry. She video called me on my birthday with all her friends singing to me. She remembered every single little thing I ever told her, and she was the only person in my entire family who ever asked me if I was happy. We're on the phone one Sunday. It's February, cold as hell in Denver, probably raining in Portland like it always does. And out of nowhere, she says, "Mama, are you happy?" Of course I am, baby. Why would you ask that? Because you never talk about yourself. You always ask about me, about Danny, about Dad, but you never tell me how you're actually doing. I'm fine, sweetheart. Really, I'm fine. There's this long silence on the phone. Then she says, "Mama, when's the last time Dad took you out on a date?" I try to think. I honestly can't remember. When's the last time he told you he loved you? Even longer, maybe months, maybe a year. "Mama," she says real soft, "it's okay to want more. It's okay to admit you're unhappy. You don't have to protect everyone all the time." And just like that, I start crying right there on the phone with my daughter. "Sarah, I don't know how to do anything else." "Then let me help you, Mama. Please just tell me what's really going on." But I couldn't tell her. The shame was too heavy. How do you tell your daughter that you wasted 40 years on a man who never really loved you? That you watched your son turn into a monster and did nothing to stop it? That you're 65 years old and have absolutely nothing to show for your whole life except regrets and broken dreams? So I lied to her. "Baby, I'm fine. Really, I'm just a little tired today. That's all. If you say so, Mama, but I'm here whenever you're ready to talk. I love you. I love you too, baby." March 15th, 2024. That's the day my entire world fell apart. Richard tells me he's got a conference in Las Vegas. Some legal thing. Says he's leaving Thursday morning, coming back Sunday night. I don't think anything of it. It's probably the 100th conference he's been to over the years. But then Friday afternoon, my neighbor Carol calls me. "Kathy, I really don't want to overstep here, but I think I saw Richard's car at the Hilton downtown yesterday afternoon." My blood goes ice cold. "Carol, he's in Vegas." "I know, honey. That's exactly why I'm calling you." I hang up the phone, sit there on my couch for probably 10 minutes, just staring at the wall. Then I grab my keys and drive straight to the Hilton. I find his car in the parking garage. Level 3, spot 247. Colorado plates. The same scratch on the back bumper from where Danny backed into our mailbox last Christmas. I just sit there in my car, maybe an hour, maybe 2. I lose track of time trying to decide what to do, trying to convince myself there's some reasonable explanation. Then I see them coming out of the lobby. Richard had his arm around this woman I've never seen in my entire life. Blonde hair, maybe 30 years old, wearing tight jeans and heels. She's laughing at something he's saying, and he's looking at her the exact same way he used to look at me back in 1985. That look I haven't seen in decades. They get in his car, he kisses her, then they drive away, and I follow them. I'm not proud of it, but I follow them all the way to this house in Thornton. She gets out, kisses him again, goes inside. He waits maybe 5 minutes. Then he drives to a completely different address in Westminster. Different woman this time. Brunette, same kiss, same routine. I follow him to 4 different houses that day. 4 different women. I drive home and throw up in my K. I just stare at my son, at this person I gave birth to, this baby I held in my arms and promised I'd protect and love forever. Get out of my house. "Mom, come on." I said, "Get out." "You're totally overreacting. People make mistakes." This wasn't a mistake, Danny. This was the choice. Thousands of choices over 40 years. And you know what the worst part is? You do the exact same thing. You're exactly like him. That's not even fair, isn't it? How many women have you lied to this year? How many people have you used? How much money have you stolen? How many lives have you ruined? I haven't stolen anything from anyone, really. What about Mrs. Henderson and her $40,000? What about that girl in Boulder who said you stole her identity to open credit cards? What about your last 3 jobs where you got fired for embezzlement? They couldn't prove any of that. Get out of my house right now. He storms out, slams the door so hard a picture frame falls off the wall and shatters. I sit down on my bedroom floor and cry for 2 solid hours. Sarah arrives the next morning with Maya. I open the door and she doesn't even say hello, just wraps her arms around me and holds me while I completely fall apart. It's okay, Mama. I'm here now. I've got you. Maya goes straight to my kitchen and starts making tea. Sarah unpacks their suitcases. They settle into my guest room like they're planning to stay forever. Sarah, you don't have to do this. You have your job, your life in Portland. Mama, I took a leave of absence. 2 months. Maya did too. We're staying here as long as you need us. But your work, the kids you're helping, they'll be okay. You're more important right now. I start crying all over again. Baby, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry you had to grow up in that house with that man. I'm sorry I didn't protect you better from your father, from your brother. Mama, stop. You did your best with what you knew. My best wasn't good enough. Yes, it was. You loved us. You were there for every school play, every parent-teacher conference, every heartbreak. You showed up for us. That's what matters. But I stayed with him for so long. I let Danny become exactly like his father. Mama, Danny's choices are Di's choices, not yours. You can't control what another person does. You never could. But maybe if I'd left him sooner, if I'd been stronger, maybe nothing. You did what you had to do to survive. And now you're doing something different. That takes real courage. I look at my daughter, my beautiful, strong, perfect daughter. How did you turn out so good with parents like us? She smiles. I had one good parent. That was enough. 2 days later, James comes over carrying this big manila folder. You need to see this, Kath. Inside is a private investigator's report, 300 pages long. James hired someone the same day I called him crying. Richard had been having affairs for 38 years. The PI tracked down 47 different women. Some were one-night stands. Some were long-term relationships that lasted for years. Some looked an awful lot like prostitution. But that wasn't even the worst part. He had another family. A woman living in Colorado Springs. 2 kids with her, ages 15 and 12. He'd been supporting them for 16 years. Oh my God, there's more. Kath? More? How could there possibly be more? Richard had been stealing money. Our retirement savings, the college funds we'd set up for the kids, the equity in our house, all of it was gone. We were completely broke. Our house had a second mortgage on it I didn't even know existed. Our savings account that was supposed to have $200,000 in it, $1,300. That's it. He spent everything, every single penny. I can't breathe. James, what am I going to do? You're going to take him to court and get every last thing he has left. The next bomb drops when Sarah's on her laptop, going through old family emails. She's trying to build a timeline for my divorce lawyer. Mama. Yeah, baby. Did you know Danny's been borrowing money from Dad? What are you talking about? She turns her laptop around, shows me email after email after email. Danny asking Richard for money, $20,000 here, $50,000 there. Always some excuse, business opportunity, investment deal, temporary setback, and Richard always said yes. Sarah, that money you're looking at, that's our money. I know, Mama, but it gets even worse. There are emails from Danny literally thanking Richard for covering for him, for paying off his debts, for making his legal problems disappear, including an email from 2 years ago about paying some woman $25,000 to drop assault charges against Danny. Oh my God. All those times Danny got in trouble and nothing happened to him, that was Dad. Dad was paying everyone off with our money. With your money, Mama, your retirement, everything I'd worked for, everything I'd sacrificed. They'd stolen it all and never thought twice about it. I call Danny and tell him to meet me at a Starbucks downtown. He shows up 30 minutes late wearing a designer suit I know for a fact he can't afford on his salary. Mom, what's this about? I've got a meeting in an hour. Sit down. I'm kind of in a hurry, though. Sit down. Now he sits. I slide a folder across the table. It's full of printed emails, bank statements, copies of the private investigator's report. What is this? That's you and your father stealing from me for the last 10 years. His face goes completely white. You've taken over $300,000 from me. Money that was supposed to be for my retirement. Money I earned. Money your father promised me was safe in our savings account. Mom, I can explain this. No, you can't. There is no explanation that makes this okay. I was going to pay you back eventually. When, Danny? When were you going to pay me back? After you spent every last dime, after I lost my house, after I ended up homeless. You're not going to be homeless. I'm 65 years old. I have no job, no savings, and a mortgage I can't afford to pay. Yes, Danny, I might actually end up homeless because of you, because of your father. People in the Starbucks are staring at us now. I don't care anymore. And you know what the absolute worst part is? You don't even feel bad about it, do you? Silence. You're just upset you got caught. Mom, that's not true. Did you know your father has another family? That gets his attention. What? Another wife? 2 kids in Colorado Springs? He's been living a double life for 16 years, spending our money to support them. Did you know about that? No. I swear I didn't know about that. But you wouldn't have cared if you did, would you? As long as he kept giving you money, as long as he kept bailing you out, you would have just looked the other way. That's not fair. Nothing about any of this is fair. I gave you everything, Danny. I sacrificed my entire life for you, and you repay me by stealing from me, by turning into the exact same monster as your father. I'm not a monster. Yes, you are. You're a liar. You're a thief. You're a con artist. And you learned every bit of it from him. I stand up to leave. Don't contact me again. Not for money, not for help, not for forgiveness, nothing. As far as I'm concerned, you're not my son anymore. Mom, you don't mean that. Yes, I absolutely do mean it. I walk out of that Starbucks and never look back. The divorce takes 8 months to finalize. Richard fights me on everything, claims the money was invested in legitimate business ventures, says I'm exaggerating the affairs, even tries to say I'm mentally unstable and can't be trusted. My lawyer absolutely destroys him in court. We have all the emails, all the bank statements, the private investigator's 300-page report, testimony from 12 different women he'd had affairs with, and the final nail in the coffin, the woman from Colorado Springs, who was more than happy to testify once she found out she wasn't his only wife. Turns out Richard had told her, I died in a car accident 10 years ago. The judge was absolutely furious. Mr. Morrison. She says, in my 30 years on this bench, I have never seen such a disgusting pattern of deception, financial abuse, and moral bankruptcy. You systematically stole from your wife, lied to everyone in your life, and taught your son that women are disposable objects. You're quite frankly a disgrace to this courtroom. The judge awards me everything. The house, Richard's entire pension, his 401k, and she orders him to pay me $75,000 for emotional distress. It's not enough to replace what he stole, but it's something. Danny tries to contact me during the trial. Text messages, voicemails, even shows up at my house a few times. James handles it every single time. She doesn't want to see you. I just need to explain. There's nothing to explain. You stole from your own mother. You're lucky she didn't press criminal charges against you. She wouldn't do that. Don't test her. Now get off this property before I call the police. Danny stops coming around after that. It's been 9 months since the divorce was finalized. I'm still living in my house. It's finally completely mine. Sarah and Maya stayed for 3 months helping me get back on my feet. Then they went back to Portland, but Sarah still calls me every single Sunday at 3 o'clock. James comes over twice a week. We make dinner together, watch old game shows on TV. He's teaching me how to manage my own finances, how to balance a checkbook, how to invest. You're doing great, Kath. I'm really proud of you. I'm 65 years old and just learning how to handle my own bank account. James. Better late than never, sis. I got a part-time job at the public library in my neighborhood. Nothing fancy, just 20 hours a week shelving books and helping people find things. Minimum wage, but it gets me out of the house, gives me something to look forward to. And I started going to therapy. Dr. Rivera is patient and kind. She never judges me for staying as long as I did. You did what you needed to survive, she tells me every session. That's not weakness. That's actually incredible strength. It doesn't feel like strength. It will eventually. Give yourself time. I'm learning to forgive myself. It's slow going, but I'm getting there. I ran into Richard about 3 months ago. I'm at King Soopers buying groceries. Just milk and bread, living my small, quiet, peaceful life. He's in the frozen food section. He looks old now, really old. Gray hair, thinning on top. The man who used to fill up every room he walked into looks small and hunched over. Kathy. I don't respond. Just keep pushing my cart toward the checkout. Kathy, please. Can we just talk for 5 minutes? No, I just want to apologize to you, that's all. I don't care. Kathy, I know I hurt you. I know I did terrible, unforgivable things, but I'm in therapy now. I'm trying to change. I'm really trying. I stop my cart and turn around, look him right in the eyes. Richard, I genuinely do not care if you're in therapy. I don't care if you're sorry. I don't care if you've changed. You took 40 years of my life from me. You stole my money. You destroyed my trust. You ruined my dignity. You turned our son into a criminal. And you don't get to apologize your way out of any of that. I know. I just wanted you to know that I really do regret what I did. I do. Good. I hope you regret it every single day for the rest of your life. I walk away. And this time it actually feels good. Danny got arrested last month. Wire fraud, embezzlement, identity theft. The FBI caught him running this elaborate scheme where he convinced elderly people to invest in some fake cryptocurrency. He made off with over $2 million before they caught him. He called me from jail. I didn't answer. He called again, left a voicemail, then another, then 20 more. Mom, please pick up. I need you. I need a lawyer. I need bail money. I'm your son. Please, Mom, you have to help me. Sarah called me that same night. Did you hear about Danny? Yeah, I heard. Are you going to help him? No. Long pause. Then she said, well, good. You think I'm being too harsh? Mama, you spent your entire life cleaning up his messes, protecting him from consequences. At some point, he has to face what he's done. That point is now. He's still my son, though, Sarah. He's a 40-year-old man who made his own choices. You didn't put him in that jail cell. He did that all by himself. She's right. I know she's right. I don't bail him out. Don't hire him a lawyer. Don't visit him. He pleads guilty, gets sentenced to 12 years in federal prison. I haven't talked to him since. I am 66 now, almost 67. My life is small, quiet, simple. I live alone in a house that's actually mine. I have a job I genuinely enjoy. I have a brother who checks on me and a daughter who loves me unconditionally. I have peace. It's not the life I planned when I was 23. It's not the fairy tale I thought I was getting when Richard Morrison smiled at me over that coffee machine. But it's mine. It's all mine. And nobody can take it away from me. I think about my younger self sometimes. That girl who ignored every single red flag, who thought love could fix everything, who sacrificed 40 years for a man who never deserved even one day of her time. I want to tell her it's going to be okay, that she's going to survive this, that she's so much stronger than she knows. But I also want to grab her by the shoulders and tell her to run, to not waste 4 decades on someone who will never change, to choose herself first. Maybe somebody watching this needs to hear that right now. If you're in a relationship that makes you feel small, leave. If you're with someone who lies, cheats, steals, leave.